Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. Wow. And I've got another coffee here. This is the Ethiopia Banko Taratu. Probably screwing that up completely. Heirloom Variety. Yesterday, I think I said incorrectly that maybe it's a blend. It's not a blend. It is actually an uncharacterized coffee type. Like I said, this is geisha. Generally it says they're like Arabica, but because there are thousands of different coffee types, they're just not all like characterized, I do believe. So heirloom varieties is just a way to cover not just Ethiopian coffee, but I think a lot of the coffees that are described as heirloom come from Ethiopia. So, and I did write that down because I wanted to remember it. Isn't that how it works with you? You write stuff down so you can remember it? It's nice how that works out. So this is another one line. It is Ethiopia. It's peach, jasmine, clementine, and fruit stripe gum, which means the flavor will last for about 5 minutes and then dissipate once I open the bag. It is a nice fruity smelling coffee. It's not as fruity smelling as the geisha. Geisha was out of this world with the flavor and smell and all of that happy stuff. This, which you will do, I'm going to do about 32 grams of this time. There we go. This is a light roast, and it does kind of look like a light roast, doesn't it? Looks very light roasty. Love the little stripes down the middle where the beans are. Kind of beans are there. That's really kind of funny. And it's very consistent, those stripes. Usually they're all just uniform. Maybe that's just the medium roast just gets more uniform. And the light roasts have the white spot stripe in the middle. I'm sure that there's a technical term for it. I'm sure it's very long and distinguished. Yesterday I didn't realize the microphone it was off. It's weird. Sometimes I'll open the little box here. Sometimes because it sits in here, and then there's the microphone here, and then there's the device that goes onto the iPhone right here. Sometimes I'll open this up. Most of the time I'll open it up, pull it out, and it'll turn itself on. The microphone is about 50-50, where I will have to check and double check to make sure the green light is on both on the microphone and on the receiver. But most of the time, the receiver is on. Yesterday, for whatever reason, the receiver didn't turn itself on. So that's just something else I'm going to have to double, triple check, which you should. It's just that you get into such a groove you're used to not. So it's going to be a big part of it. There's Indy in the box. Box cat. Matt is off. I took him and his sister and father to the airport today. This morning, as a matter of fact. We got there about, I don't know, say about 8:30. The traffic wasn't awful for rush hour on a Thursday morning. The only people that seemed to be exiting their vehicles to go into the check-in area were the people that were on this particular charter flight. So they will be in Washington. I guess as far as they're concerned, in an hour. They take off at 10 a.m. So the coordinator, who is used to dealing with aimless, half brain dead old people with probably a bit too much money than they should have, told them to be there like 90 minutes before the flight leaves. So hopefully everybody gets there and stuff like that. Definitely a lot less fruity. I can actually kind of smell the peach from Fruit stripe gum, though, it's going to be an interesting kind of taste if I can pick up on that. But there is like it's very weird. It's like a peach, and then and as weird as it might sound, kind of an overlaying kind of miso kind of smell. If you've ever smelled miso, almost kind of savory, which is kind of weird. However, 32 grams there. Water's heating up. So yep, they're on their way. And that's great. I'm sure they'll have a wonderful time. It's going to be really nice. Hopefully, it's not supposed to rain out there, but Washington is gonna Washington, so I don't know how much weather forecasts actually matter out there. So I guess we will find out come game time. So we're gonna do. So we did 32 grams. So we're gonna do we'll do the 450. We'll do the full 450 drink. Grab my clear glass that I cleaned out yesterday. I guess the fourth Friday is happening in a city near. I guess it's a fourth Friday because sometimes months are just really freaking long. So there's an event on Friday. I may find my way down there. I don't know. In the evening time, we'll see. I want to say it was like from like 4 to 6 or 4 to 8. Maybe it was like 4 to 6. I know they're shutting down the entire downtown area, which always turns out well for everyone. So, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was definitely not as bad as when I went to pick up Matt's cousin Aria from the airport a couple of last. Was that this month? That was this month, wasn't it? Wow, this was a long month. Whew. So much garbage has been happening. It just makes the month seem incredibly long. So, but yeah, I think that was this month. Yeah, she's from Minnesota, and was here for a couple of days. She was kind of an excuse to come visit, basically. She needed help with her website, and Matt knows things. So the excuse was, I can come down and you can help me with my website in person. And any excuse to visit, to be honest with you, is a good excuse. So I guess I'm going to let that run for about a minute and see how that goes. The bloom. I'm going to let it bloom for about a minute. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I will have an additional coffee tomorrow for those excited about such news. I'll try to, we'll finish up with the Frankenbones that I got. Chocolate hazelnut from Bones Coffee. Definitely one of my top 5 coffees from Bones Coffee. Hazelnut and chocolate. Beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I do know I'm going to stream. It's going to be a little bit longer stream, but then it's just like, I just stay home. I should just stay home. I've already done my due diligence. I've gone outside. I've driven in traffic. I think I've earned a minute. You don't really do that, do you? You don't really earn that kind of stuff. It just is or it isn't. I really don't know. I really don't have much to talk about other than how excited I am about trying this coffee. This is going to be a lot of fun. Trying to discover the notes that someone else has discovered somehow in what is probably essentially a perfect environment for drinking coffee. And a lot of this stuff, I've talked about cupping before, and it's where you just take the coffee, you grind it fresh, and then you just put it in a cup and let it mellow with water for a certain amount of time. until it gets to a certain temperature or something like that. And then you kind of take all the floaty bits of coffee off the top. And then you don't necessarily drink the coffee. You just you take a spoon and you slurp. And the aeration kind of activates whatever the stuff thing, whatnots, that aeration does with coffee. And then you just kind of get the essence of the coffee. But, it's, you don't drink the cup. You just basically go down a line of, you usually do it with multiple coffees. You just go down a line of multiple coffees and you just take a spoon and you spoon out a little bit, trying to avoid the coffee grounds as much as you can. Because mostly they float to the bottom. It's kind of when you skim the ones off the top, because some of them just don't float to the bottom, but the majority of them will be in the bottom of the cup. So you really don't have to worry about getting a spoonful of coffee grounds if you just skim the surface of the coffee with the spoon and then slurp from there. So, but it's supposed to be like the essence of the coffee. It's not this. This is what normal people do for coffee. But for connoisseurs and people that like to do fancy things, a coffee tasting is a big deal. And it is a big deal. The last time I did a coffee tasting, friend and Matt coworker, Kurt, was a little over them. No, I wanted 450. Kurt had this Japanese coffee, I think it was, imported Japanese coffee that tasted like blueberries, and it was absolutely insane because it was just a cultivated coffee. It wasn't like dusted with anything like a Bones. It was just a cultivated coffee that was cultivated in such a way that the flavor profile was actually blueberries. And I'm probably gonna put my little straw in here, give it a little bit of air, and we'll do another little swirl. The flow rate's a little low. I even stepped this filter setting back like 5 steps. So maybe this particular type of coffee is more for more coarser grind rather than the geisha, which functioned very well at a 55, which is close to the maca pot side of everything on the DF64 here. So yeah, but it's a trickle, it's a trickle. It's taking a little bit. So, but it is very bright. It smells acidic. Light roasts tend to be. Look at that cat. Yeah, we're looking at you, bud. He's funny. So rain may stop for a little bit. We've definitely needed it, like I said yesterday, and could continue to use it. Yeah, boy, I set the grind size even lighter, and it's very choky. Maybe just ground a lot. Maybe this variety just grinds a lot finer. Regardless, this was the naturally processed one too. Yeah, no, this is honey processed. So this was honey processed and raised bed drying. So 500 smallholder villagers. Well, I hope they got paid. I hope beyond hope. All right, we're getting there. It's a really weird looking bed. It's very sludgy down there. And like I said, I even backed this down so it would be a little coarser than the geisha when it got chopped up. So, and there's a lot of fines along the paper, whereas with the geisha, even though I did swirl it, I swirled this one too, but there were relatively no fine particles around where the water was draining with the geisha coffee. So that's very interesting. Like I said, yeah, that's very, look at, ooh, wow. What an interest, what is very interesting. How those grinds look bigger, but at the same time seem to be just, I don't know, just almost like rice in there. That's fascinating. Well, I'm excited to see how it tastes. And then tomorrow, we'll open up the Frankenbones and get a good sniff of that. And I'm pretty excited because that's definitely one of my favorite ones. Yeah, look at the, how interesting. A lot of that looks like the white stripe that was in the middle of the bean. Remember that? I mean, that's kind of what those look like. Just the little. Well, that one's not a very good example. There are a bunch of. I mean, there are a ton of them in here. Come on, come on, come on. Let's see. Well, there's at least a pound or two in here. Yeah. See how this? There's like a white stripe that runs down the middle of the bean, and that really looks like those white stripes did not get ground up very well. The geisha, though. Some of these have the white stripe running down the middle of them. Open this up and immediately I'm hit with lemon. But like the majority of them don't seem to. I mean, this one kind of has a white stripe going through it, but this one doesn't. This one doesn't. So, I mean, and then I think this one is roasted. It's still a light roast, but it's a little bit more down the scale of. I mean, just a smidge. If I were to even say a smidge, it's just a smidge down the scale from light roast. So, I don't know. That's super interesting. But this is the $15 bag of coffee. Not to put a finer point on it like that, but yeah. It almost smells like tea. Like, I don't know if you've ever, I don't know, I mean, I have, but what they will do is, and One Line actually has some of this in their stores. They'll take the coffee cherries, the coffee cherries that came off of the coffee beans, and they'll dry them and turn them into tea. That tea is interesting. And the amount of stuff that they feel like they need to mix with it in order to make it taste good is also interesting. Sugar, lemongrass, and several other things. And I don't even think it's like regular, it's not regular sugar, it's like raw sugar that we had when we were at that one coffee farm in Colombia. But it's very interesting. And I bought a bag of it and I brought it back and I tried to make it as close as I could to what they did. And it just kept tasting like hay. And then it would taste like sweet hay if I put simple syrup into it. And then I put lemongrass and it tasted like lemongrass and hay. So, I mean, sometimes you just can't make it work and, you know, that's fine. It was a pretty big bag that I bought. Yeah. I mean, maybe the jasmine is what they mean by the tea. See, it says peach, jasmine, clementine, and fruit stripe gum. It's a very interesting flavor because it's very kind of sharp to begin with. It's like all over the place. It's like every fruit that you can put chemically into a stick of gum. And then you chew on it for like 10 minutes and then the flavor is gone completely. And then you just got a white piece of rubber in your mouth. So that's an interesting tasting note. And it's not bad. I mean, that's not high praise. It actually tastes really good. And you know, peach is definitely something that I can get from that. But fruit stripe gum is just something very interesting. That maybe there's an all over the place kind of acid-like note that might be hitting. Clementines are sweet, but I'm really not getting a clementine flavor. I mean, this tastes nice. It just does as a pour over. But the geisha is definitely a lot more tasty. I do taste tea. There's a little bit of peach in there. The coffee flavor that you would normally get with a coffee is kind of muted. It's very, very low. It's like the lowest part of what I'm tasting, which is interesting. And it's not bitter. It's just, it's just a little bit, like there's a middle and then there's like bitter and then there's like refreshing. And it's just over the line of refreshing. So because it's light and acidic and there's very little bitterness to be had here. And, you know, light roasts do tend to go that way from my understanding and experience. So, okay. Yeah, I do like that. I'd probably pick the geisha up instead the next time I go coffee hunting if I'm looking for stuff. But that geisha is delicious. This is also delicious, but I find I enjoy the geisha a lot more. So, I mean, your mileage, as always, will vary with regards to what kind of coffee you like and how your palate feels and tastes and sits. You know, that's diversity. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with the Frankenbones. This afternoon I will do a stream and finish up what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and then probably order a pizza and sit here and watch TV and eat pizza. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.